So let us try deal with a couple of other issues that the children have some trouble with, which are fractions. And so if we have some fractions, we have a couple of rules. If we're going to add or subtract fractions, the denominators must be the same. Now, if we multiply or divide by them, they don't have to be the same, but in adding and subtracting them, they do. So as an example, if we were going to add, let's say 1/4 plus 1/2, and again, if we're going to come up with a solution to this, these denominators must be the same, and so we're going to have to learn to multiply. And so we're going to have to convert 1/4 and 1/2 to be the same denominator. Well, I'm going to leave 4 alone because it's the larger denominator. And then to be able to get 1/2 to have a denominator of 4, I'm going to have to multiply 2 by 2 to get 4. And I can multiply anything by 1, and 1 whole in this case would be the same as 2 over 2. So I can multiply this by 2 over 2, and that's going to give me 2 over 2 is going to give me 4, and 2 over 2 times 1 is 2, and we all know that 2 is 1/2 of 4. Well, now I can go ahead and I can add this. 2 plus 1 is 3, and I have 4. So 1/2 plus 1/4 is 1/2 plus 2/4 is going to give me 3/4. That's a relatively simple one. If I was going to get more complicated, if I had, say, 1/5 plus 3 over 6, now I'm going to have to do some skip counting because I really don't have anything that's really going to be the same. So if I skip count my 5s, I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And to skip count my 6s, I'm going to go 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. And what I'm looking for here is a common denominator when I skip count these. Well, I now know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 6 gives me 30. And then I can go back over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So now I'm going to multiply this by 6 over 6, which is 1. And I multiply this by 5 over 5, which is also 1. I'm multiplying those by 1, so I'm not really changing their value, but I'm now going to give them the common denominator of 30. 6 times 1 is 6. 5 times 6 is 30. And I'm adding them. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 6 is 30. And now I can add the numerators up because I'm going to keep my common denominator of 30. And 15 plus 6 is going to be 21. Now, I would accept that in 4th grade to be the correct answer of this, but we should also know that we can also reduce that, and I can do that by dividing both the top and the bottom by 3. 3 goes into 21 7 times, and 3 goes into 30 10 times. So as the kids progress up into grades in a middle school, they're going to be asked to reduce fractions like that to the lowest possible common denominator that they can use. And in this case, 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 3 divided by 30 divided by 3 rather is 10. And so 7 out of 10 would be the correct fraction for this one. Now when we deal with multiplying fractions, this is relatively simple in that I'm just going to multiply across. And I don't have anything special to do here. So 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 5 is 15, and that would be my answer. And that will work with any multiples that we're going to do with any kinds of fractions. If I wanted to do another one, 5 over 7 times 6 over 8. 5 times 6 is 30. And 7 times 8 is 56. Now if I wanted to, I could reduce this. And so right away we know that those are both even numbers. And so if I just start dividing by 2, this is going to be 15 over 28. And that's going to be as far as I go because I have nothing else that I can reduce that by. I can't divide 15 by 2. I can divide 15 by 3, but I can't divide 28 by 3. The only other factors of 28 would be 4 and 7, and neither one of those will work for 15. So I have to leave that one alone, and that is the lowest I can go. Now division might give them a little bit of problem, but we try to remember to give them the Kentucky Fried Chicken rule, KFC, which will help them a little bit. So if I wanted to divide one, let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's make this 3/4 divided by 1/4. And what the kids will have a hard time with is trying to figure out, as I'm really asking the question, how many 1/4 are in 3/4? Now most of us will right away will see that, well, there's 3 of them there. But what we would do here is we would keep the top number. I'm going to flip the bottom number. And then I'm going to change this from division to multiplication, which makes this real simple. And this is going to give me 12. 3 times 4 is 12 over 4. And 4 goes into 12 3 times. And so we're basically, our answer is 3. And most of us who are pretty good at math will know that there are 3 1/4 in 3/4 because 1 goes into 3 times. Let's try another one real quick here. Well, keep in mind our KFC rule. Let's do 7 over 8 divided by 6 over 9, let's say. That's a little bit more difficult, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep 7 over 8. We're going to change our sign to times, and then I'm going to flip the bottom. And that's going to give me 9 over 6. 7 times 9 is 63, and 6 times 8 is 48. And that's going to be my answer there. Again, if I start to look at what the factors of 63 are, well, 9 is 1. 9's not going to have anything to do with 48. If I did 3, I could do something with 3 here, because that's going to be 21. And 3 in here is going to go 16 times. 3 times 16 is 48. And then I asked myself, is there anything else that I could do with that? And there's really